My name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and today I want to talk a little bit about how the fearful avoidance subconscious mind may keep going back to moments of chaos. So how it may return to chaotic events, moments, and how you may find that chaos sort of is a subconscious comfort zone in your life. So we're going to talk about why. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different, which is I've had a lot of feedback about wanting visual representation. So I'd love to hear how this goes for you guys in the comments below, and if this is helpful. So I've actually put together a slide to really explain this. And I'm just going to share my screen here and take you through this slide as a whole so you can really understand what's taking place. So we're talking about fearful avoidant attachment style and this chaos comfort zone, okay? So what I want you to understand, and this is the same for every single attachment style all the time, is that we gain subconscious imprints from childhood. Now, your subconscious mind stores all information ever. Okay. Some of that information gets consolidated over time. Memories can sort of shift with our emotional tones over time. But as a general rule, our subconscious mind is kind of this big warehouse of information. And whatever we're exposed to repeatedly over time conditions us. Okay. So if you get told over and over again that you're not good enough, then you're going to have that story, especially as a child, because that child mind really sponges everything up and personalizes everything. You're going to come to believe that you're not good enough. And that's going to be your identity that you take with you into your adult life, unless something happens to recondition that belief system about yourself. So we're constantly being conditioned by repetition and emotion. And whatever repeatedly elicits an emotional response for us is sort of firing and wiring these neural pathways that are creating a lot of our self-concept. Now, it doesn't just happen from the perspective of what somebody says to us. We also get conditioned from whatever behaviors are sort of shown to us regularly. So whatever's modeled to us. An example of this would be going to part B here, which is if there's a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty, then we're going to see a lot of this modeling of these things. And it's what we're going to constantly interact with. It's still going to elicit that emotional response within us. And it's going to become part of our programming at a deeper level. So you get conditioned through what you hear repetitively, what you're exposed to repetitively firsthand, or what you just see over and over again. Another example of this could be if you constantly see people fighting over money, right? You may think, oh, okay, so this is what we do. We fight over money. Whatever's modeled to you is going to become part of your programming. Now, some of the big themes that you see for the fearful avoidant, aka disorganized attachment style individual, are chaos, uncertainty, nervous system dysregulation, fear. Usually fearful avoidants grow up in some kind of environment. And of course, you can become fearful avoidant because of an abusive relationship in your adult life as well. But a lot of fearful avoidance, because of this repeated exposure to chaos, uncertainty, fear, and feeling like you have to walk on eggshells, this creates a lot of nervous system dysregulation. Now, that dysregulated nervous system, meaning that you spend more time in sympathetic nervous system mode than parasympathetic, so fight or flight, or freeze or fawn, rather than rest and digest, regulated mode, feeling a sense of calm and peace. That's the way that eventually your nervous system is conditioned to show up, right? This is okay, well, this is my comfort zone. And so what you're going to learn is that, okay, this is how I'm going to, this is the state that I'm going to be used to operating in. And the subconscious mind really wants to hold on to what's familiar. It equates familiarity, as you'll see in point D here, to safety. So if you get a lot of this input, because of the experiences you have in your childhood, where you're made to feel like you're bad, maybe you're guilted for things a lot, or shamed for things, so maybe you feel defective or unworthy. If you feel betrayed because there's a lot of incongruency in childhood, or just unsafe or unseen or unheard, then what's going to happen is you're going to grow up believing these things about yourself, and believing these things about attachment, because these are your conditioned concepts, right? This is what you've been exposed to through repetition over time. This is what you know, this is how things are. And so what we then need to understand is that it's really our subconscious mind. If you look at point E here, it's our subconscious mind that's really making decisions for us. I mean, our conscious mind makes choices and has feelings and thoughts and behavioral patterns that are consciously chosen roughly 3 to 5% of our waking lives. but it's really our subconscious mind running the show. So, those knee-jerk reactions, those emotionally based decisions, those are being chosen from the subconscious level. And so what happens, and this is so valuable and so important, so incredibly important to recognize, is that what happens is we constantly think that we are choosing things as if, oh, it's a new choice, it's a new decision, it's a new behavior. And it may appear that way because your external environment looks different, right? It's not your relationship to your parents, it's your relationship to your adult relationship, right? Like your adult romantic partner. But what you'll see if you look very closely is the internal themes tend to be quite quite similar and quite repeating, quite repetitive. So an example of this may be if you had a lot of trust broken in childhood, you may grow up and be attracted to people who make you feel that sense of familiarity again, but maybe it's because they're betraying your boundaries as well, or they're making you feel unworthy or taking advantage of certain circumstances or situations, or maybe they guilt trip you or, make you feel unseen and unheard or unsafe. And so the subconscious mind keeps going back to what's familiar because that's its conditioned comfort zone. That's what it's used to. And so again, those repetitive experiences we have all the way back in childhood are largely influencing who you pick in your adult life and the choices and decisions you make. And it doesn't just stop at your romantic relationships. This is another really important point, which is it's not just at the end of your romantic relationships that your attachment style is impacting. These patterns you have, the beliefs that you're bad or unworthy or not good enough or defective or you'll be betrayed, that suspicion, those will spill into all of the 7 areas of life. They'll spill into your relationships to your authority figures in the workplace. They'll spill into your friendships at times and how comfortable or safe you feel relying on people or opening up to people. And those will all still just mirror the themes from your childhood. So until we realize that though our external world changes, a lot of the way our external world makes us feel internally carries the same themes, right? Our needs tend to be treated the same. Our feelings tend to be treated the same. We tend to have the same core wounds or painful dynamics showing up. Until we understand that, we're going to keep maintaining that comfort zone. And so this brings me to the last point that's so important here, which is that healing doesn't happen because we just become aware of things. I mean, that's a hugely important first step. But the second step is that we must recondition these patterns. We have to actually create change with these patterns at a subconscious level. And so we have to recondition these stories, right? That I'm bad or that I'm not worthy or that I'm always going to be betrayed. And we do this through repetition and emotion of new behaviors, new relationship to how we treat our needs, new internal dialogue, and using tools to hack the subconscious mind for belief reprogramming purposes. So we can actually wipe out these core wounds, not believe these things anymore. It doesn't mean we're not cautious. It doesn't mean we don't have needs, but we get better at setting our boundaries, reinforcing our needs, sharing our needs with others. And we don't come from the place of fear, and we don't have these stories driving our behavior and also driving our comfort zone of what we're attracted to, what's familiar, and what we keep trying to at a subconscious level go back to over and over again. So what I want to share with you now is if you want to do a deeper dive, you can check it out for free for 7 days. But it's that we have fearful avoidant programs, and our entire basis of how we do the programs and what's so different from like traditional dynamics is that we focus on reconditioning. We focus on identifying and isolating these different pieces and then having step-by-step tools for reconditioning, for rewiring, for getting rid of these imprints that don't serve us as it relates to our core wounds, aka belief patterns about ourselves and relationships as well, our relationship to our needs, our relationship to our boundaries, and how we treat our own emotions. And so there will be step-by-step tools in there to guide you. And I'm also in there doing 4 live calls every single week with all of our program members. And we also have many other supportive features, accountability webinars that are available, daily community events if you just want that extra support. And so all of that is available for free for 7 days using the link in the description box below. But please let me know how you like this format of the video today. I really wanted to just like explain things with sort of a visual, like you can see the words on the page, obviously as well. All of the tools inside PDS all have notes and workbooks and slides and a lot more of this type of information. So let me know if this helps. It's quite easy for me to put together. So I can do a few more videos each week with some of this stuff as well, just in terms of the breakdown. But again, like the courses are always going to have so much more value than anything I can put on YouTube, because they're an hour and a half in length and they're broken into modules and they have exercises with them. And, you know, they're set up in this sort of more visual format in a lot of different ways. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video.